Everything. The Galactic Academy's observation deck hummed with the nervous energy of 200 species, all gathered to witness humanity's first combat assessment review. William Chen sat in the back row, his dark eyes fixed on the holographic display that dominated the center of the auditorium. Beside him, his Vraxian classmate's translator clicked softly as it processed the murmurs rippling through the crowd. "I still don't understand why the council insisted on this public review," the Vraxian muttered, its 4 eyes blinking in sequence. "Humans have been part of the academy for 3 cycles now. We know they're adequate." William said nothing. His jaw tightened imperceptibly as the lights dimmed. At the front of the room, Maya Singh stood perfectly still, her posture neither defensive nor proud. Her regulation uniform hung loose on her frame. She was smaller than most humans, barely reaching the average height of a Terran female. Her hair was pulled back in a simple braid, and her face carried the same carefully neutral expression she'd worn throughout every tactical simulation, every combat drill, every assessment over the past 3 years. She was, by all Academy records, unremarkable, a solid B-grade student, competent but not exceptional, the kind of human who would serve adequately on a support vessel, perhaps as a secondary navigation officer or logistics coordinator. William knew better. "Cadet Singh," the headmaster's voice boomed through the chamber. The Korvathi administrator's scales shimmered under the display lights. "You have been selected to represent humanity in this review due to your average performance metrics. The Council believes you exemplify the expected capabilities of your species in modern warfare." Expected. The word hung in the air like an insult wrapped in diplomatic language. Maya's expression didn't flicker. "Yes, headmaster." "Then let us begin." The headmaster gestured toward the holographic display. "We will review footage from the Battle of Kepler 442b, where human forces engaged the Zathran invasion fleet 6 months ago. This recording was recently declassified." The display erupted into light and motion. Space unfurled before them in stunning detail. The orange glow of Kepler 442b's sun, the geometric formations of galactic defense vessels, and the writhing, organic shapes of Zathran bioships. The alien vessels looked less like spacecraft and more like tumors growing through the fabric of reality itself. William leaned forward. He'd heard rumors about Kepler 442b. The official reports called it a strategic victory with acceptable losses. But the human networks, the ones the other species didn't monitor, told a different story. They spoke of a massacre averted, of something impossible. The Zathran fleet consisted of 47 capital ships and over 300 support craft, the headmaster narrated. The defense force numbered 12 vessels from 6 species. Humans contributed 2 frigates, the Defiant and the Saratoga. On screen, the battle began. The galactic defense ships moved in perfect formation, their tactics drawn from 10,000 years of accumulated warfare doctrine. Precise, mathematical, predictable. The Zathran swarm adapted within minutes. Bioplasma tore through shields optimized for energy weapons. Acid projectiles melted hulls designed to deflect kinetic strikes. Within the first engagement, 3 alien vessels went dark. Standard response proved insufficient, the headmaster admitted, discomfort evident in the clicking of his mandibles. The Zathran had evolved beyond our tactical models. The human frigates hung back initially, following protocol. Then the Defiant broke formation. "What is that idiot doing?" someone in the audience hissed. The Defiant accelerated directly toward the Zathran fleet center, ignoring all conventional engagement distances. It spun on its axis, a maneuver that should have torn the ship apart, and launched a spread of kinetic projectiles at impossible angles. The weapons weren't aimed at the Zathran ships. They were aimed at empty space. 3 seconds later, the Zathran bioships moved into those exact coordinates. "Precognition," a student whispered. That's impossible without psionic capability. Not precognition, William said quietly, prediction. The Defiance maneuvers became increasingly erratic. It wove through the Zathran formation like water through cracks in stone, never where the enemy expected, always where it needed to be. The Saratoga mirrored its movements with inhuman precision. Then the recording zoomed in on the Defiance bridge. William's breath caught. Maya sat in the captain's chair, her fingers dancing across 3 holographic interfaces simultaneously. Her eyes moved with mechanical precision, tracking dozens of vectors at once. Around her, the bridge crew worked in absolute silence, responding to her hand signals without hesitation. Single pilot control. The headmaster's voice carried a note of disbelief. The recording indicates Cadet Singh was coordinating all ship functions, navigation, weapons, shields, communications, and tactical analysis, simultaneously. That's not possible, the Vraxian beside William stated flatly. Neural processing capacity would. Watch, William interrupted. On screen, a Zathran capital ship unleashed a beam weapon that had vaporized 2 defense cruisers earlier in the battle. The Defiant didn't dodge. Instead, Maya's fingers moved, and the frigate's shields reconfigured into a geometric pattern that shouldn't exist, overlapping energy fields that conventional physics said would cancel each other out. The beam split, refracted, scattered into harmless radiation. The auditorium erupted into chaos. Impossible. The physics don't. How did she? The headmaster raised his appendages for silence. On screen, the battle accelerated. The 2 human frigates moved like dancers in a choreographed routine, but the choreography was being written in real time. They predicted, adapted, evolved. Every Zathran tactical adjustment was countered before it could be fully implemented. Every new weapon configuration was neutralized within seconds of deployment. The organic ship's greatest advantage, their ability to evolve rapidly, became their fatal weakness. Maya was evolving faster. The human vessel's actions became increasingly unconventional, the headmaster continued, his voice strained. They began using Zathran bioships as shields, redirecting enemy fire into their own formations. They manipulated gravitational fields to create artificial debris fields. They even, he paused, as if disbelieving his own words, they weaponized the enemy's communication frequencies, causing several Zathran ships to fire on their own fleet. The recording showed Maya's face in profile. Her expression remained calm, almost serene, but her eyes burned with an intensity that made William's chest tighten. This wasn't the quiet classmate who sat through xenobiology lectures taking careful notes. This was something else entirely. Something terrifying. The battle reached its crescendo. The Defiant and Saratoga executed a synchronized maneuver that defied every tactical doctrine in the Academy's databases. They dove into the heart of the Zathran formation, shields overlapping to create a single protective envelope. Then they spun. The gravitational stress from their rotation created a vortex. Zathran ships were pulled from their positions, crashed into each other, torn apart by forces they couldn't resist. In 90 seconds, the enemy fleet was reduced to scattered debris. Silence filled the auditorium. Total Zathran casualties: 47 capital ships destroyed, 316 support craft eliminated, the headmaster said quietly. Human casualties, 0. Damage to human vessels, superficial hull scoring. He turned to face Maya, and for the first time, William saw something like fear in Akorvatha's eyes. Cadet Singh, your performance in this battle was analyzed by the Council's best tactical minds. They have concluded that your actions should have been impossible for a single operator. The processing speed, the tactical creativity, the physical precision required. He paused. You operated at approximately 47% of your recorded Academy performance levels during this engagement. 47%. The number landed like a hammer blow. "You've been hiding," William said aloud, unable to stop himself. "This whole time, every simulation, every test, you've been holding back." Maya turned to look at him. Their eyes met across the auditorium, and William saw the truth. She hadn't been hiding her strength out of fear or deception. She'd been hiding it out of kindness. "The Council wishes to understand," the headmaster continued, "why humanity would send operators of such extreme capability to a basic academy, why you would present yourselves as merely adequate when you clearly possess the capacity for tactical dominance." Maya was silent for a long moment. When she finally spoke, her voice carried clearly through the chamber without any need for amplification. "Because we remember what it's like to be afraid of the new species," she said simply. "We remember when we were the ones entering a galaxy full of civilizations older and more advanced than us. We remember feeling small." She gestured toward the frozen hologram of the Zathran fleet's destruction. "We got very good at war, Headmaster. We had to. Our history is written in the ashes of our own conflicts. We learned to predict, to adapt, to overcome." Her expression softened slightly. "But we also learned that strength isn't just about winning. It's about knowing when not to fight, when to let others believe they're your equals, when to hide what you can do so that others don't fear what you might become." "And when the war recordings are declassified," the headmaster asked, "when the truth is revealed?" Maya smiled, a small, genuine expression that William had never seen in 3 years of classes together. "Then we hope you'll understand that we hid our strength not as a deception, but as a gift. We gave you time to know us as people before you knew us as warriors." She straightened. "Humanity doesn't want to dominate the galaxy, Headmaster. We just want to be part of it, but we will never again be victims. Never again be helpless when something like the Zathran comes." The auditorium remained silent. Then slowly, the Vraxian beside William began to click its mandibles together, the species equivalent of applause. Others joined. Not everyone, but enough. William stood and walked down to where Maya waited. Up close, he could see the weariness in her eyes, the cost of maintaining that careful facade for so long. "Why tell me to watch?" he asked quietly. "Why make sure I was here?" "Because you're going to be asked to explain this," Maya said, "to the other humans in the academy. They'll want to know why I broke cover." "And what should I tell them?" Maya glanced back at the hologram of the Kepler 442b battle, frozen at the moment of the Zathran fleet's destruction. "Tell them the time for hiding is over. The galaxy knows what we can do now, what we choose to do with that knowledge." She met his eyes again. "That will define what humanity becomes out here among the stars." As William watched her walk out of the auditorium, still moving with that same careful, understated grace, he understood. The war recording hadn't revealed everything. It had revealed just enough to make the galaxy understand that humanity was a species to be respected, not feared, to be included, not isolated. And if there were other humans like Maya, hiding their true capabilities throughout the galaxy, well, that was a secret William was content to keep. For now,